Here's something interesting about the national debt that I shared on my podcast this morning. This is testimony from Chairman Alan Greenspan of the Federal Reserve, January 25th, 2001, in front of the Committee on the Budget for the U.S. Senate. He was pointing out how productivity increases in the U.S. from the mid-90s to 2001 were enough to raise overall income, tax revenue was rising, and the U.S. ran a budget surplus from 1998 through 2001. And the Office of Management and Budget and the Congressional Budget Office were looking at these productivity increases, looking at the budget surpluses, and they were estimating that within 10 years, the U.S. would be able to pay off its national debt. At the time, the total national debt held by the public as a percent of GDP was around 55%. So they had this rosy outlook, and they even assumed productivity per year would not climb as much. Well, what happened? Well, we know that the national debt did not get paid off. Now it's 120% of GDP, and political life happened. Those budget surpluses started looking attractive, and so the U.S. government cut taxes, they expanded Medicare, they launched some wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, and then we had the great financial crisis, and that took the budget deficit to GDP to 10%. Now we've had the pandemic, and so from 2001 to 2011, when they thought the national debt could be paid off, the national debt as a percent of GDP rose to over 100%. It doubled as a percent of the economy, and now it's even higher today. It's a challenge. And what's incredibly fascinating about Greenspan's comment was he was worried that once the national debt would be paid off, the U.S. would continue to run surpluses, and so they would have all this money that they would be buying up private assets in the U.S. economy. That was the worry. Didn't happen. The exact opposite happened. And here we are today with the highest national debt that we've ever had. It won't be paid off. At least it doesn't look like it. Do you think the national debt will ever be paid off?